Hey friends, welcome to the recordings from the Study and Work in America International Student E-Summit. It was such an amazing webinar. I'm Rob. It was my privilege to help host this event. Thanks for everyone who tuned in. And for those who missed it, we're going to be sharing these recordings to help you guys, to guide you on your journey, whether to study or work and get jobs here in America. This video is the recording of Parth, who gives all the important details about the post-admit procedures, everything to do once you've gotten your admission till when you arrive in America. Enjoy these tips.
So I just want to start with, hi, how's it going? That's a lot of times I've said that to people and nobody has replied to me, but that's how we start conversations here. How's it going? A little bit about me. I graduated from Asian Institute of Technology in 2016. I went to Jönköping University. That's in Sweden. It's Jonkoping, but they call it Jönköping. It was a game changer for me. It was a life changer for me. The exchange semester gave me so much exposure. The picture you're seeing right now has, like, I would say six nationalities, seven nationalities in the single picture. Meeting so many people has helped me, communicate better, meet more people, and have friends all over the world. Last year in 2019, I graduated from Purdue University. I was lucky that my parents visited me for a whole month and we took a trip all across the US. I recently moved to Arizona. Arizona is a different state completely. It's beautiful landscapes. It gets really hot. In summers, it's like 110, 115 degrees Fahrenheit. That's around 48 degrees Celsius. That's a cactus. That's how you would find that big of a cactus. But it's nice because right now when in December everybody was wearing a jacket, I was in my shorts and in my hoodie walking around and making everyone jealous. I joined a company called Wilming Construction. It's out of Phoenix. Contrary to everyone else here, I am in construction, and a lot of people find it hard to believe. But yes, that is one of the projects I'm working on. It's a fire station. The biggest motivation of me waking up every day and going to my work is that whatever I'm building today is gonna help and enable people to work and serve the community for the next 60, 70 years. Couple of life updates. I actually did this presentation in the meetups I did in India during February, just before this whole lockdown situation. I met over 1,000 students in India this time, and it was awesome. I'm not sure if anybody here is in chat, and let me open the chat really quick and see if there was anyone who was in the webinar. Oh yeah, there you go. I see a lot of people. So awesome. Oh wow, that is crazy. Anyways, we adopted a cat. That's my girlfriend. I recently bought a car. Just wanted to share that that's where I am, and that's what you can achieve as well when you come here, when you work hard and make some money and enjoy your life. Actually, it's Berlin's birthday. That we named our cat Berlin, and it's his first birthday. We adopted him from a shelter. Sorry. A couple of things about me. I got admits from the following universities. I really wanted to go to Europe after my exchange semester in Jönköping University, but I wanted to apply to US as well. But after seeing the job opportunities and doing a good comparison, talking to a lot of my professors from my previous universities, I decided to come to Purdue University, and that was one of the biggest decisions of my life, and I'm really happy about it. Because of you guys, I know a lot of you are in the chat here. Because of you guys, we got so many views on my channel, and this has to be updated. It was taken at 96.3 thousand, but we are at 99.6 or 99,600 subscribers. Hopefully, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. So what I want to talk about really quick is that let's talk about once you get admitted. I know a lot of you have gotten emails from the university. Sadly, a lot of universities have said that first semester would be online, but whatever it is, I'm going to help you make that decision on which university you should pick. A couple of things, and I'm not sure because I was on and off in the morning session if somebody has talked about it already, but my basic theory about finalizing university was that let's take it four factors. Okay, let's talk about location, faculty, jobs, and return on investment. The biggest thing in return on investment is that I don't want you to do a course which would not result in a very high paying job, but the university are going to has a very high fees. I know Pooja is here. Pooja, can you tell us quickly how much was Columbia's fee?
Oh, well, it was on the whole $80,000 just for the tuition fee, and I was in New York, so on the
Yeah.
whole, the entire expenses, even though I was very frugal, was
Mhm.
$110,000.
$110,000. What does that equate to right now? 76,000.
Uh,
It's
Even if you
70.
use 70, it's what, 77 lakhs.
Yeah. So see, what I mean by a return on investment here is that if you're spending 77 lakhs on your masters, you would want to get a job of 100,000 plus, or anywhere between 80 to 90,000 plus. If you're doing in degrees in mechanical engineering or construction industries where they're not as high paying as computer science or a product manager job, then it doesn't make sense to go to such an expensive university. And I get it. It's the brand value is there. It's Columbia University. It's an Ivy League. But again, spending so much money and being in debt for so long doesn't make sense. You would have to see jobs as well. All of these universities have industrial relations. They have career fairs. A lot of the university websites have data on which companies came to the career fairs, which companies have hired previously. And I know Pooja and Roshni both talked about, if you have to look up on LinkedIn, how you can look for your alums in the same university. So you got to look and basically analyze, like, if I'm going for a particular course in this university, would I get a job in the industry, or do I have enough connections in the companies that would help me or that would refer me in the companies? If you're going for a PhD, or if you want to go for a PhD, or if you want to go for masters with a thesis, I would say faculty is very important. That's how you get a research assistantship or a teaching assistantship. I know a lot of my friends who have done grading jobs with professors, and because of their good relationships before, because they emailed the professors before, that's how they got that positions. So if you want to do a PhD, my girlfriend got a PhD admission in University of Arizona recently, and the only reason why she got it, major reason why she got that admission was because of a professor agreeing to fund. See, it's a big thing in PhD that it's not the university you're going to, it's the professor you're going to work with. It's a professor who's going to fund you with their grant money. So it's very important to have that faculty relationships. Now, when it comes to location, honestly, we have Pooja here, we have Yudi here, we have Roshni here. I would ask them to chime in and tell me that how much location matters and how much it makes a difference. This is my opinion. Location matters, but it is not the biggest deal. It would matter 20%. Again, all these networking events and everything is going to happen in the big cities, but it doesn't matter if you're in a small town or a small city. That doesn't, you know, what do you, I'm forgetting the word. That doesn't reduce your chances to stand out, or doesn't reduce your chances, because at the end of the day, they are looking for your qualifications.
I would agree with that part, and I would just add on to that if you're going to be in a small city, like let's say Purdue University is,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to get more creative in
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to people, because you are not going to meet the kind of people that you would if you were in SF in California.
Right.
So there are incredible online resources, but you still have to get creative though.
Right. My theory behind that is, like, if you're from computer science, obviously being in San Francisco helps a lot, being in California helps a lot, but not for all the branches. That's what's wrong with uh, what we hear from our seniors, that hey, if it's a California state, or if it's a UC Berkeley, it's in California, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, not necessarily for all the branches. And that's my thought on finalizing. Let's talk about visa. Let's talk about H1B. I know I get tons and tons of questions. If H1B is going to stay, if H1B is going to go away, they were thinking about reducing STEM extension or taking away STEM extension. Is it going to happen? So here's some data. There's over 1 million international students, and I know Rob also told you guys about this, that there's over 1 million international students in the US. In 2018, 2019, it might be higher for 2019 and 2020. It will be lower for the following year just because of the COVID-19 situation, and I'll be talking about that as well. So international students contribute significantly to US economy. There's they support over 500,000 US jobs, and they bring in 44.7 billion US dollars. I have a post-it note. I'm just going old school, and I have one more I have one more fact to just back what I'm saying here. There is just I'm trying to find it. That's why I don't like post-it notes that much. you know, sorry, I'm just okay. Yeah. So all in all, in the universities, there is over 20 million students, and they bring in $650 billion in revenue. And 50 billion of that 650 billion, that's a big chunk of money which they are going to lose if they are going to hinder with our visa resources, if they're going to, revoke STEM extension, if they're going to revoke H1B. I know they are going to get hard on. They're going to make it more difficult for the IT companies who bring in a lot of people from TCS or from Cisco and from India, and people make money without doing any masters or any degree here. They're going to get hard on them, but not for international students. People have been hearing about it taking H1B away since like 2000s, and it is still there, and it's here to stay. A couple of H1B facts. I don't know if you guys know, but my name was picked up in this time in the H1B lottery. So I will be applying for my H1B. The lawyers are asking for my documents, and that's where we are at. So there is an increase in requests for evidence from 23% in 2015 to 48% in 2019. All of these facts are not to scare you. See, I want to tell you all the facts just to inform you about the situation, not to scare you. Just being informed is the best way to tackle any situation. RFE is request for evidence. So, for example, if you have applied for H1B, I could get a RFE that, hey, clarify that your master's degree bode well with the job you're doing. The denial rates were high as well. It was 6% in 2015 to 24% in 2019, and there was approval of the petitions. With RFEs was lower in 2019. It was down to 60%. There are also talks that H4 will be eliminated. I know these things are long shot for you guys. So, but H4 is when, if you have a spouse, if you're working on H1B, your spouse can work on H4, but that might be eliminated, but still not there. The big thing is that all of these politicians, Republicans especially, they like to touch upon this topic, right? They like that they'll get more votes from Americans who think that international students are taking their jobs away, which is not correct. And I can go on and on about talking about this, that why international students are doing much better jobs as compared to what they think we are doing. And that's why I think H1B is here to stay, and OPT and STEM extension is not going to go away, because US universities have a lot of say in making these reforms as well. So talking about post-admit, just lightening up a bit, because it's late at night. I know it's Sunday morning for you guys, but let's talk about post-admit. This is a picture. This is just a bunch of pictures I put together from 2017. I am not sure if all of you guys will be able to come for fall 2020, but when you come for fall, for spring 2020, you'll see the most beautiful skies, at least if you're in down south. You'll see winters if you're up in Midwest or in North, in New York, maybe. Everybody's going to go to Walmart, pick up the same kind of stuff. That's just how international students do. That's a picture of one of my first orientations week, where they were telling about plagiarism and new things which we do not hear during our undergrad, or at least I didn't hear during my undergrad. That was downtown Chicago. I was so surprised. It's just like the movie, guys. It's just like the movies. And I know Pooja here landed in New York. That must be overwhelming, because you see these big buildings, and they are big when in the movies they exactly look like they look in the movies.
Honestly, walking Times Square in New York is an experience in itself.
Right.
It's so bright that it's almost overwhelming to walk Times Square on the
Right.
first day.
I went to New York I went to New York last summer, and I was, it's just, the city is always moving, just never stops. Talking about academics and part-time jobs, I know a lot of everybody has talked about it. Things are a bit different. Courses are a bit different. The way the professors take exams is different as well. They're not going to give you a sheet of paper and say that, hey, here's 3 hours and write it down. They'll give you projects to do. They'll give you team projects to do. Every professor has a different kind of teaching method, and they have the freedom to choose how they're going to give out exams as well. Right now, since everybody's doing the university online, all of the professors have given exams online. Like, you have a week to solve, you have 3 days to solve, and you can use any resources, but they know that they have made the exam that difficult that you'll still not be able to score. About the part-time jobs, I'm not sure if anybody else has talked about it. I'll go over really quickly. There's RATAGA, that is research assistantship, teaching assistantship, and graduate assistantship. There's part-time jobs, and like, you can work in a cafe, and it's a very humbling experience, honestly, if you're working in a cafe or in the library or in a bookstore, because we would never get a chance to do all of that stuff in India. And it's a great way to make some money. How Nitin was telling us that he would make like $450, and that was his budget, which is great, because see, you don't want to spend that much money of your loan amount or of your parents. So it's good to have that extra money. And it's always, if you have a 1 year course, I wouldn't recommend it because it's so fast. But if you have a 2 year course, I would honestly tell you, even if you have to do it for a month, you should do it. You could be a grader or a proctor. A grader grades the homework. It's also a good segue in it's also a good segue, because a lot of professors, if you're a grader for a professor, they'll make you a teaching assistantship, or they'll give you a teaching assistantship or a research assistantship. And as an international student, you can only work 20 hours per week. I'm not even going to talk about this. The only thing which I'm going to talk about here is that living in silos, though, because Pooja and Roshni has talked about LinkedIn so much, and even Rob about finding a job, I'm not going to talk about it. The only thing which I'm talking about here is that every university, you would see that if you'll pick 10 students from all the universities, you would see that those 10 people from a university has a certain type of elevator pitch and a certain type of CV and certain type of way they talk to people, even a certain type of LinkedIn message. Whereas if we talk to if we talk to students in university B, they have a certain way to do things. So that's why networking is so important. Cross networking, you talk to your friends in different universities, tell them that, hey, would you able to give me a list of universities who came to your career fair, and I'll give you my list, and maybe that's how you can help. You can tell them that, hey, this is my elevator pitch. You have to give somebody something to get something from them, and that's a very important thing, because they wouldn't trust you. They would say, like, why should I tell my elevator pitch, or why should I share something which I've worked hard upon, right? And that's how you build connection. That's how you build trust. You have to tell them that this is what I'm doing. Is there something different which you guys are doing? For example, let's say um, you're in a university where there's a bunch of Indian students, and there's a certain university where there are less Indian students. And in a lot of career fairs, Indian students compete with Indian students. That's also a thing. So communicating at that time, where there's more inputs from different from applying to different companies, from talking to different people, might help you and the other students as well. Yeah, just don't be this guy. I'm not sure if anyone shared about this, but I've gotten four emails from my company's recruiter in these couple of days, because of layoffs and everything, that somebody has used my name, and when I check my LinkedIn or my Instagram or any of the messaging service, I don't see their name. So don't be that guy where you're using somebody's name just because you might have seen them in the webinar, or you might have seen them in one of the videos. Talk to them, tell them that, hey, I'm applying for your company. Would you be able to look at my CV? just how Roshni told, how to network and go that route rather than being the guy that you have used my name and the next day I'm listening from the recruiter that, hey, this guy has used your name. um, would, would tell me about him, and do you know about him as well? Because I'm just going to say that I don't know this guy, and I have nothing to say. That's just judge. That doesn't show good on you as a student. How to ask questions. I know Pooja has a video about this, but just questions and set goals. Be smart, be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time based. Whenever you're asking us a question, don't ask a question that how is a certain university. That's very generic. Ask us like, hey, I'm planning to do this course. I have done this. Tell us a bit about you so that we can help you better, and we can answer. Like we know what to answer rather than being a generic question where we can say, yeah, it's good, but it's not going to help you at all. Just a quote from Edward Deming: if you do not know how to ask the right question, you discover nothing. Life in the US, and I'm sure Rob and everyone can agree to that people love sports here, especially football, not the soccer we know, the American football. They love it. I've been to a couple of games and I've understood nothing, but I just like the vibe of everybody enjoying a lot and the college spirit. It's very upsetting to see that there would be no basketball games right now, and yeah, no sports events even for fall. I think America, hands down, has the most beautiful campuses across the world. I was in Brown last to last year, and honestly, I would just go sit in the mains. It was so green, so beautiful. Students would skate. It's exactly like in the movies, but it's so motivating and so uplifting to see more people motivated and working and going around with friends. It's just a different vibe, and you would feel that at least if you're coming for fall 20, you would feel that in spring 20 for sure. It can get really cold. I was in West Lafayette, and there was a time when temperatures in Chicago went down to -40. We were really close to Chicago, and um, we had like -32 that one day. There are beautiful, beautiful national parks. This is a picture from Yosemite, the bottom left. Yeah, it's if you have to take a trip, you save money. If you have to take a trip to any of the national parks, you wouldn't be disappointed. Americans love their cars. You would see so big trucks that you have never seen before. Supermarkets is an adventure. There has been times when after work I've been like, just go to a supermarket and check out some stuff. It's amusing to see how many varieties of things there are. Like I did not even know that there are 10, 15, or around 20 types of cheese. We only knew like Amul cheese when we grew up. That's it. On the COVID-19 situation. All right, let's talk about it. So I sketched up a little something while I was having chai this time in the honor of this webinar. So for the fall 19 people who are already here and who graduated last year with me, with Pooja, with other people here, there might be a pay decrease if your industry is hit. For example, construction industry, particularly in California and New York, has been hit, and there has been pay decrease. And it's just not that. Travel industries have hit as well. There has been furloughs. A furlough is when there's a leave of absence. They'll not pay you, but they're not putting you out of job, but they're taking away your pay. And yes, there has been layoffs as well. I've had a lot of people message me that, and you would see this on LinkedIn right now, that there has been so many layoffs every day. I just saw a post just before my presentation that there was 200 layoffs in GoPro. So yeah, travel industry is the big hit, and retail like H&M, Macy's, Forever 21, all of these have taken a big hit as well. Airbnb is taking a big hit because yeah, people are not traveling anymore, and I don't think they're going to travel for the next 3 to 4 months, even if the ban was lifted off, because it's just too risky. Talking about the graduates who graduated in December 2019 and May 20, who are going to graduate in May 20, some of them have gotten jobs, but they have the risk of getting laid off. Some industries are flourishing, let's say Zoom and I don't know, Skype and all these online um, companies are still hiring. I know Facebook was still hiring. I know Walmart and all these retail industries, the grocery stores and supermarkets are still hiring. So I've just gotten that my company has implemented a 90 days hire freeze beginning 20th April. So when there's a hiring freeze, they're not going to hire anyone for a certain amount of time. You might They are canceling their internship programs because just doesn't make sense. People are being hesitant for even referring people. The universities are also trying a lot. I know UT Austin. I have friends in UT Austin, and they are doing one-on-one sessions, or they're doing class sessions with some of the people in the industry who are still hiring. So universities are trying, but again, not doing campus fairs, not doing career fair is a big hit for sure. For the class of fall 20 and spring 20, this is what I have right now, and things are changing every day. So don't take my word on, take my word on what I say today, but if you're watching this video when Rob has uploaded it, and if you're watching it 1 week after this, things might have changed. But fall 20, there might be a hybrid program where the fall semester is going to be online and the spring semester is going to be on campus. At least that's what the universities are contemplating. There is a risk that not going to be there's not going to be CPT. For CPT is the internship which you do, that is curricular practical training. As per USCIS rules, you need 2 semesters in the on a US campus to be eligible for CPT. Now, if the USCIS, they might change rules in a couple of months, but we haven't seen anything on that. For a 2 years course, if you're coming in spring 20 or fall 20, it's a better situation because you have 2 years to judge the situation. And I know a lot less people are going to come for fall 20, but the companies want to get back to work immediately, and they might bring back their employees, they might hire. But again, everything I'm saying here is just based on my opinion and what I'm seeing. I'm being optimistic. Being very optimistic because up until January and even February, the US market was, everybody was hiring. Uh, everybody was hiring. Stocks market was up. The US, the economy was in a boom, but things have changed really quickly and not for the best. For fall 21, it's just too early to say. I would say if you're planning to apply for fall 21, you should go ahead with the whole thing and still apply. And I'm sure when there would be less students for going for fall 21 as well, so the chances of you getting into a better university is higher. That's at least my estimation, and I'm sure a couple of panelists here can agree on that as well. For the PhD admissions, this is what I have. So the universities have taken a big hit in terms of how much money they would have coming in. So when they do not have that much money, it's hard to fund PhD candidates. Now, I read an article today from 2018, I think. From November 2018. So University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign had insurance from an unknown insurance company for $450,000 per year. That insurance was if there was a drop in number of Chinese students, if there was a 20% drop in number of Chinese students, the insurance company would pay $60 million to the universities. And I just know about UIUC, but I'm sure there would be other universities who have taken that insurance. So right now, US universities are trying to tackle that situation and trying to bring in more money. But how they're going to handle it, because I know hybrid programs fees are much lower as compared to what they would have on campus. And if you're not using campus resources, they might have to lay off a lot of people at the universities. So just to conclude on the COVID-19 situation, here is what my thought is. It's going to be difficult, and it's very hard to say what's coming for the next 3-4 months. But I'm being optimistic about it, that as soon as this situation ends, they want things to go back to normal, but it's hard to say as of now. And as much as I would want to tell you that everything is good, everything is not good right now. That is it from my side. I'm I hope it was not too long, but here's your help team. I know there's Harsh. I don't know if you guys have, I'm sure you guys have seen That Indian Guy videos, but I have to include Roshni. I have to include Nitin here as well. And yeah, Rob, Hernur, Pooja, all of these is your help team. And yeah, if you need any help, just ping them. I have a quote from I read this in my undergrad, that you spend most time with yourself, make yourself interesting. And that's where we end. That's my Instagram. You guys know that I'm gonna hit 100,000. Let me check how many subscribers. Okay, it's at 567. So maybe in 2-3 days. We'll see, man. I'm just excited. Thank you. Thanks to Rob for organizing this. It was great having everyone and having everybody's opinion. I learned a lot, basically. And I'm going to reach out to Roshni and Pooja to do a LinkedIn video soon enough and help you guys in any way we can. That's it from my side.
Parth, a few people have asked about what the USCIS is. Would you mind kind of defining or explaining that? Because that's a very important resource.
Honestly, I'll have to look up. I forgot the
actual words.
It's U.S. Customs and Immigration something. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. That is USCIS.
And why do they need to know about that?
That's the agency who are handling the immigrants and who are handling the visas, and basically that's the agency of United States Department of Homeland Security. So like they have to know, or they make the rules, they lobby the rules which are going to come in action.
Here's a question.
Sure.
What's the difference between CPT and co-op? Are they the same or different?
They're pretty much the same. So in CPT, I think you have like 9 or 12 months. See, I've been away from college so long that I don't even remember anymore. It's just been a year, but things have changed really quick. So if somebody can chime in and tell me how long CPT is, like, is it 12 months or is it 9 months?
Yeah, CPT is for 9 months. You can get it for 9 months.
So yeah, you can do a co-op and a internship. Internship, like basically summer internship. Co-op is when you're doing an internship during the semester. That's what they call a co-op.
Yeah, and it depends on the university. Some universities like UTD, it lets you do for 12 months. So I had a CPT for 12 months. So you could do, that's like an internship experience of about 12 months. That's what you could do. So that is what it is.
Also, the interesting thing is that CPT, if you do part-time, it's like unlimited. Like I had used all, like if you are doing full-time, then that's, for me, it was 9 months. And then I still kept working at my company as a part-time, and it was still considered as CPT, but it was unlimited. So that is something interesting I found out.
Yep, I agree to your point as well. I also did part-time CPT for a year and full-time CPT for 9 months. And for my school also, the CPT full-time was for 1 year period.
Parth, got a few more good questions here.
Sure thing, yeah.
Someone asked, what's the biggest parameter for graduate admissions? Is it the test score, like the GRE, or is it the SOP or LOR? Which has the biggest weight in the admit?
You know what? Let me quickly pull up.
Actually, I can maybe answer that because I was doing research on that for the book anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what is the most important factor when it comes to admissions, right? We spoke to the Dean of Admissions at Dartmouth University, and what he said is that, contrary to popular opinion, statement of purpose is not the thing that's a deal breaker. It is in fact something that they look at as a nice to have rather than something that they actually care about, and say that if they have a good SOP, they get in. So what they actually look at is, first is GRE, TOEFL, CGPA. They kind of skim the first layer of applicants and eliminate that. And then they go to the next layer and start looking at your past experiences, your projects, internships, any papers you published. And then they finally come to the SOP and use that more as a way to eliminate people rather than select people. So that's how people think about it. Again, this is one person's opinion.
That is great. That's great. I would say like academics is a big thing as well, just because you're doing a master's in a particular degree, your academics are important.
Okay, this is a fun one. What's the lifestyle comparison or difference between Europe and America?
So the big thing which I found in Europe and America is like, if you go on a cab ride in America, they'll tell you your life, they'll tell you their life story, and they'll be happy to listen to your life story. People are not like that in Europe. Especially, I was in Sweden. Sweden people really like their own space, personal space. Even if we were exchange student, even if we were there only for 4 months, and I met a lot of Swedish people, but there was always this barrier between us that they're not going to be open about their lifestyle or their family on how it is in the US. When I'm working or when I go to a job site, even if I'm meeting a guy for the first time, he'll tell me about his kid who got married recently. They'll not do that. That is a big lifestyle change, and that's one bad thing I don't like about Europe, that people feel so. If an Indian person goes there who's been around so many people, they feel really isolated and they might get depressed a bit. That's a big culture shock which I saw.
Here's a good post-admit question, Parth. A lot of people have asked about how to get housing. One person said, even in West Lafayette, where Purdue is, how do you find or rent housing as an international student? What are your tips?
Honestly, housing is the worst thing to find. I had so much trouble, and I had a budget, I had a much better budget as compared to while I was studying, even when I moved to Phoenix. And even now, from outside, my apartment looks really nice and everything, but the management is still crap. I would honestly tell you that just ask your seniors which housing is the best or which housing they're living in, and that's how you would find it. In big cities, Zillow and everything would help, but in small cities, seniors are the way to go. They ask, if you have a WhatsApp group, and if there is a senior, hopefully they can make a list of, hey, these are the accommodations where most of the international students live, or these are the ones you would prefer. That's how you would find housing.
I guess there's what should be my preference while selecting internship, location, or salary if I choose in between a couple of opportunities? Location or salary? I feel like neither almost.
Yeah, the company itself.
Yeah.
The culture of the company, that is the most important thing.
So true. Yeah, the values of the company, if they match your constitution and your values, I think that's the only way you can make it sustainable. And
that's the only way you can survive. So you gotta. No, you gotta really see if you look for culture, and if the company is also looking for people who matches their own culture value, then you would fit so well in the company that it would be a seamless transition for you. You would make so many friends, you would just not meet coworkers every day. You would work with your friends. So that is one thing, not the salary or the location.
Yeah, I had an experience with that. For example, for me, I wanted to work at Apple, and that was my dream company, but I had no reason that why I want to work at Apple. And the only reason I would say was because, technically it's going to give me so much of, technical enhancement and all those opportunities. But when I went over there and I interned over there for 3 months, I found that this is such a cultural misfit for me, because the kind of person I am, over there, it's really a lot of you keep up to your own projects, and you cannot even ask your manager what other projects he's working on, because it's a black box. They can't share a lot of things. And for me, I was like, oh god, so I only get to work on what I'm working, and I don't get to see what's actually happening, what the bigger picture of this company is about. And I wasn't able to make friends, or it's a very closed culture over there. So that was such a big misfit. And the moment I joined Qualcomm, they gave me opportunities to kind of, develop my other soft skills that I had. So I think that's the only way I've been able to work in this company for these 3 years. And that really helps.
Thanks so much for watching. We hope this video is really helpful to guide you guys in your journey to success. There's a couple ways you guys can say thanks. One is filling out the feedback form, whether the link is in the description. That's going to help us put on more webinar events like this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channels of all the presenters to show your support and help us to help you guys. And lastly, connect with us on LinkedIn. Don't forget to tag us. You can recommend us. We really want to help you guys out in your journey to success here in America. Cheers.